Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different, and I'm going to talk to you guys about my experience growing up in an alcoholic home. And I'm hoping that this video is going to help somebody out there who is battling this disease. I know alcoholism is such a wide topic of conversation. It's a disease that barely anyone talks about. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of my experience growing up at home from the Caribbean, with my dad being an alcoholic. I'm 51 years old, and I do still have vivid memories as a child growing up, all the events that took place in our house. My father unfortunately passed away 3 years ago this December, and basically I was really contemplating whether or not to put this video out because it's Christmas time. Everyone's happy, everyone's gift giving and loving and caring and eating and having a great time. So I thought it would be a great time because there is no time set aside to have discussion when it comes to certain illnesses, diseases, drugs, whatever the case may be. In any case, I just want to give you guys some of my experiences as a child growing up at home. Like I said earlier, my dad passed away 3 years ago this December. His cremation was on the 24th of December. Yeah, my memories are still quite sharp. My father was an alcoholic his whole life. 100% of the time he was drunk. He was always drunk. The day he would come home sober doesn't even factor in to that percentage of the time that he doesn't drink. Now, if I had said to you that 99.9% of the time he was drunk, that 1% would be giving him too much credit. So I wouldn't even count that 1% at all. 100% of the time he was always drunk. It was very, very difficult because back in the days, as a child growing up, you couldn't speak to anybody. I mean, the neighbors knew what was going on in our house, but there was no one to help. You couldn't speak to a teacher, we couldn't speak to friends, you couldn't speak to anybody because there was no one to go to ask for help. And I think it's really, really difficult as a child growing up, carrying those emotions, carrying those memories, not being able to speak to somebody, not being able to confide in someone is a little bit more, I would say, tougher than actually living the event, because I would have really loved to go to someone and say, you know what, we are having this issue at home, could you please help me? This is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm afraid of. So we didn't have opportunities back then to have discussions like that with anybody. And the question that you may be asking is, okay, so you're 51, how are you coping? Well, I remember one day my dad came home and he was so drunk and he wanted to kill everybody in the house. It was myself, my mom, 2 sisters, 1 brother. And so I remember, because when somebody's threatening your life, I mean, you really become numb in a sense, and survival mode kicks in. And I remembered I jumped from our kitchen stairs to the ground outside, and I remember taking off running. And the minute I jumped, it's like jumping from a 2-story building to the floor. I mean, try to imagine, right? And I injured my left knee. And I remembered going to school, my leg would be stiff as a board. I couldn't walk sometimes because we couldn't afford to go to the doctor. I couldn't afford to get medical help because that was what things were like back in the day. And up to this day, I do have lots of pain in my knees. I mean, it's been controlled because I had knee scopes and stuff like that. But the point is, every time the knee hurts, I get really angry. and it takes me way back to the time when I actually fell off that stairs. Not really fell, but jumped off that stairs to save my life. And the reason why I'm actually angry when the pain gets so bad is because why is this happening? Number one, I mean, you have a parent who is supposed to be loving and caring for a child, but what you chose to do was try to hurt that child. And he knew back then that I had issues with my knee, but he didn't care. But I chugged through that pain. I went to school, I went to work. I did all that stuff growing up from my teenage years to in my 20s. And I pulled through. Because there's a saying that goes, why dance with the devil and wonder why you're still in hell? Because I really refused to carry those memories, which was basically hell for me, because I really wanted to find some way to let go so I can carry on and have a normal life. You know what I mean? So one of the things I'm going to try to do today is encourage anyone. If you are someone out there who is an alcoholic, I want you to listen to me carefully. The first thing you need to do is this. You need to stand in front of a mirror and look at yourself and say to yourself, look, you know, I am so blessed. God has given me this life where I can eat, I can breathe, I can walk, I can stand up. I am not in a wheelchair. I am not blind. I can see, I can think, I can talk. These are all blissful gifts from God. And who are you to be so disrespectful to God, to be treating your life that way? Life is a gift, so you need to cherish that gift that God has given you. And you have to recognize in yourself that, you know what, I am a good person. I have a good soul. I have a good heart. I have a family that care about me. I have friends that supports me. First of all, you need to really recognize the goodness in yourself and the blessings that you do have. It's not about the money and the house and the things. It's about that life itself that you've been so blessed to be given. And secondly, you have to recognize in yourself that I have a problem and I need to get this problem fixed. Don't just say that to yourself because you want Tom, Dick, and Harry to hear what you're saying. You have to mean it from the heart, because if you don't get help, you are a detrimental to yourself, to your family, to your friends, to your co-workers on your job. You are really heading down a really bad road. It's very, very important that you get some help. And for the ones who are the friends of alcoholic, you need to approach this person in a gentle way. But, you know, because they can see things through your eyes. I mean, alcoholic sees things totally different to what you're seeing. Because the minute somebody takes a drink or two and I see that blurredness in the eyes and the speech starts to turn, I know that person is getting intoxicated. And so, look, you know what? I think you need to get some help. You know, we'll support you 100% of the way. Let's start somewhere, because you're such a lucky man or woman or whoever you are that you really need to get this problem under control. And the reason why I'm saying all of this, these things are, number one, I mean, so many times in the news, you hear people say, okay, this shooting take place, or this take place, or that took place. And when you really start getting into the nitty-gritty of the person's life, this person was an abused person, this person was sexually abused, this person came from a broken home, etc., etc., etc. So you want to be able to address that point blank, like right away, because you don't want to have that negative effect rubbed off on your children, rubbed off on your loved ones, on whomever. You want to be able to nip it in the bud right away. It's very, very important. As I get older, I let go of things, but I didn't get a chance to talk about it. I remember when I got my first job, 5 years into that job, I had a conversation with one of my co-workers, and that was I was in my late 20s. And that was the time where I actually began talking about it. And I couldn't believe how easy it was to have that conversation with somebody. And they had given me such encouragement, and they were so supportive to me. It's important to talk because you want to be able to hear some positiveness, some great conversation. You want to be able to hear some great feedback of who you are, because you're growing up in an alcoholic home. People assume that you're going to be just like your dad, and you grew up with that fear and that anxiety that, oh my God, maybe I'm going to turn out to be just like my father. But thankfully I didn't. You know what I mean? And I was very, very, very grateful to my friend for listening to me and understanding that this is what I'm feeling. And that's when my heart basically opened up. Could you imagine, as a child, until you're in your 20s, you're carrying around that deep, dark secret? That is really, really, really difficult. So this time of year, it's the holidays, people are having parties and drinking. I would encourage you guys, if you are an alcoholic, don't drink. Don't drink and drive, because you are going to hurt yourself and you are going to hurt other people. And I am 51 years old, and I really try hard to not let that get in the way. It's part of my life, it's who I am, but it doesn't define me as a person. You know what I mean? Because I had my own goals, I had my own dreams, I had my own aspirations. And it didn't matter what my life was back then. I stuck to my guns, that I am going to be this person when I grow up, and I'm not going to be like my dad. We would say to my mom, why are you with my dad? And what am I going to do? I have no other choice. But I mean, it's just too bad. Back then, people didn't really have much choices. Nowadays, you do have a choice to make. There is no way in hell you would say, well, I don't have anyone to talk to. I don't have anywhere to go for help. You do have help. There are loads of resources around your community, in your city, in your province, where you can get help. Because remember, kids don't stay young forever. They grow up, and however they turn out is a result of what you teach your children. You know what I mean? So try really hard. If you are an alcoholic, please get some help. Don't be ashamed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. There is help available 24/7. But I'm really thankful that I've grown up. I am 51 years old. I do have a family. I function pretty well in life. My pain is not going to hold me back. I have my pain under control. I don't make myself get too angry and crazy about it. If I really dig deep and I think too deep about it, then I will not be able to function. But that's not the way I want to have my life. I want to be able to function well. And I thank God every single morning when I wake up that I have this life, that I am blessed with a family, and that my family loves me, and I have people around me who cares about me. So think carefully as you go through this holiday season. I'm going to encourage you guys, do not drink and drive. It's not a good thing. You make sure you have a designated driver, and you plan your sleepover, and you plan your events well, so no one is going to get hurt on the roads, and no one is going to get hurt around you and in your life. It's very, very important that you do that. And these are just some of my thoughts about growing up at home with my dad. Like I said, unfortunately, he passed away. But life was a living hell. And I thought to myself, this is never going to end. But I mean, time goes on, because, the here and now is never the end. There is always the next thing that comes up. So try really hard, and please get some help. I mean, taking a bottle to your mouth, I mean, like, what is that? I mean, what really? I mean, like, think about it. I mean, you go to the liquor store, you buy a whole lot of liquor, you drink and you get drunk and you start behaving bad. What the hell is that? I mean, is that who you are as a person? I hate to think that. Think back to the basics. I was blessed to have this life, and I am going to cherish this life that God has given me. And I'm not going to disrespect God by being abusive to myself, because God forbid you end up in trouble. What's going to happen? You're going to end up dead. Because my dad died from infections from alcohol, and plus he had a stroke. I mean, he drank himself to death. It's not the first time I've seen this in anybody. I work in the medical facilities where we look after cancer patients, and we had patients who were alcoholics, and the prostate cancer or whatever cancer they had didn't kill them. It's the alcohol. So think about it for a minute. Think about how you want to be able to leave your mark in this world. Think about it for a second. Just think carefully about those thoughts. And I remember I read this book by Louise L. Hay when she talks about doing mirror work. I think it's so important to do mirror work. You stand in front of the mirror, and this is one way of building self-confidence. You know what I mean? Look in the mirror and recognize the goodness in yourself. Give yourself good positive affirmations, and then you're going to be just fine. Again, I encourage you, if you're watching, to please get some help, because growing up in an alcoholic home or being around somebody who drinks is not a good thing, because you are going to end up down the wrong road. Okay, so I didn't really want to make this video a downer because it's the holiday season. I just really want to share my thoughts with you as a woman, as a human being, as somebody who grew up in an alcoholic home, which is not fun, because you want to be able to enjoy your life and have fun and enjoy your families and friends without getting too crazy. So I thank you guys for watching. Please share this video with your friends and encourage them and say, look, you know what, you need to get some help and you're going to be just fine. I welcome your feedback. I welcome your thoughts. Leave me your comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you had similar experiences like I do growing up in a home with an alcoholic parents. How did you manage? Did you speak to anybody? How did you survive that event? And what is your life like now? And how has that affected you as a result of that, of growing up in a home with an alcoholic parent or a relative or friend or whatever the case may be? Leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you guys. I would love to welcome your comments. And I thank you for watching. And you guys have a fantastic day. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a happy holidays. Happy New Year. And I shall see you guys in my next video. And bye for now. Bye.